Yeah? Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. You have done half of my job already in terms of explaining about Quest Global. Thank you. I'll try not to repeat a lot of that. First of all, thank you to the entire officers of KCCI who have chosen me to be the speaker at this fifth such event. I'm really honored and very, very happy to be here sharing this dais with you. And next about maybe 30-40 minutes I'll speak, and then I'll try to spare enough time for any Q&A. So I really love the new automatic QR code way of doing this Q&A. So, please do as I speak, whatever comes to your mind, just go ahead and send that question, and then the organizers here will later on ask those frequently asked questions, okay? So it's great to be here because I was born here, and my parents hailed from around here. I grew up in Hubli, and then also did my schooling in Surathkal. So it's great to be back here among you today to share some of my thoughts. So before I speak about anything else, I thought maybe I'll elaborate a little bit more on Quest Global and also what business we are in. So we are in this business called engineering services outsourcing, okay? Engineering services outsourcing. What is that, and how is that different from something else you might know, which is IT services companies, right? So engineering is, we support product development. There are lots of engineers required for making anything work. Today I took a flight. It's a big metal container in which people sit, and it safely crossed the hills and the rivers and all that and landed here. To make such a machine happen, it has taken 100 years of commercial aviation with thousands and thousands of many generations of engineers to make it so safe and easy, right? So now it has taken mechanical engineers, it has taken structural engineers, it has taken electronics, navigation, radio, communication, all kinds of engineers. Same thing with your mobile phone. It's a small little device that we don't think much about nowadays because we are always more worried about what's on it rather than what's in it, right? So, but it's an engineering marvel really, because it has taken a lot of engineers doing various semiconductors in that, chips, the analog electronics, digital electronics. There is even a mechanical engineering, camera, communications. It's a really marvelous product. So there are many other products if you look around. So just whether it is a car, a bike, a train, or aircraft engines, power generation equipment, medical devices. If you go into any hospital now, doctors are half engineers because there are so many equipments right there, and everything is engineered. So these are all finely engineered. So our engineers actually take part with our customers who are extraordinarily good at making these devices, and we support these customers to think up what is the next thing, support their engineering with our engineers. So company started with 2 people back in 1997, and today it's more than about actually 20,000 people since we did acquisitions. So maybe I can have one of the videos, maybe both the videos, just to give you an idea of the company, and then we can talk more about other aspects, yeah?
For over 25 years, our mission at Quest Global has been to become the most trusted partner for the world's hardest engineering problems. And today, we are a global engineering services partner, working across 8 different industries in 17 different countries. But although we're proud to have some of the world's brightest engineering minds, we know that it's only when talent meets commitment that trust is truly earned. Our promise to each and every one of our customers is that we will care for your business as if it were our own. We will always deliver on our commitments, on time, and on budget, with transparency and integrity, and no unwanted surprises. We'll think proactively about your business, presenting you with new ideas, investing in them to ensure the impossible is made possible. And we'll build you a fully customized team tailored to your every need to solve your specific and unique challenges. So if you're looking for a trusted partner who can solve your hardest engineering problems, who make a world of difference, then choose Quest Global.
Thank you. So this is actually the video we made for our 25 years, which was 2 years ago. Now it's 27 years. And since then, from 17,500, we have grown to 20,000 plus people in the company. So, but how did this journey happen? So maybe I'll go a little bit into that. So this is a story of 3 boys growing up in Hubli. And 2 of the founders actually are my younger brother, Ajay Prabhu, and my friend and classmate from first grade all the way to engineering and beyond, Arvind Melligeri. 2 people started the company. And I joined this journey a little bit later for different reasons. So education was at the very forefront of this. And so we were growing up in Hubli and very intent on learning. And we did our CET. Arvind and myself got into NITK. 2 years younger, my younger brother Ajay, went to do mechanical engineering in a BVB college in Hubli. So after graduating from NITK, we both, Arvind and myself, decided that we wanted to continue our education. We went to the US. I went to University of Massachusetts pursuing my electronics, and he went to Penn State for mechanical engineering master's. I went on and I wanted to do my PhD, and Arvind finished his master's and wanted to start a business. At the same time, Ajay came to US. He also got his master's from Old Dominion University, Virginia, and then another master's in biomedical engineering from Rensselaer Polytechnic, and he also wanted to start a business. And I introduced my younger brother and my best friend from college and said, hey, you 2 are both mechanical engineers, you want to start something, go ahead and start. And I also told them I'm never going to join you because I'm an electronics guy, and electronics guys do something totally different, right? And then a few years later, the company started growing very well, and company started in a very high technology area at that point of time. Back in 1997, something called finite element analysis, which is really as hot as generative AI that we all talk about today. So it's the very basic premise of the company is always been about high tech and high level of engineering and technology. So about 5 years into it, General Electric was one of the main customers at that time. They really loved the way these 2 young people could solve their finite element analysis problems those days. And then the company grew rapidly. About a year into the company, they thought, hey, this work needs computers and brilliant engineers. So now computers we can bring here in India, and we do have brilliant engineers, so why not do this in India? So that's how things started in Bangalore, a year after the company started in 1997 in the US. And Bangalore started growing. General Electric customer really loved the fact that there was so much great work being done by this young startup, and it was also at favorable cost because it is being done out of India. And then they really sponsored, and the business grew until 2003, when something called Enron debacle happened. I don't know, some of you may have heard. There was a big company called Enron, which turned out to be a sham company, and they were putting all these orders into General Electric, and General Electric was giving those orders to Quest Global. And then our revenue was growing like anything, and suddenly one day when the news broke out, within 2 months we lost 50% of the business, and we would have died. Okay, so it was just simply that we would have died. A $16 million business was cut into half, and it was really a miracle, and we have to thank our good fortunes that just a month before, Carlyle, which is a private equity, had signed to invest into Quest Global. And despite this issue of Enron happening, they said, we are going to continue. We trust you guys to do the right things, and they continued and invested without renegotiating anything. Okay? So if not for that one thing, we would have been not here. I wouldn't be here, standing here today, talking with you, right? So somewhere in this journey, back in 2002, the company was growing very much, and Ajay was not able to spend much time with the customers because he was back here in India trying to take care of the delivery of projects and HR issues and the infrastructure and all that. And so that's when I decided to jump in. I came here from California to Bangalore, and Ajit went from Bangalore to where our customers are in the US. And after that, it's been a great partnership with my younger brother. I reported to my younger brother, okay? And it's been a great partnership. So he took care of all the customers, and he kept on bringing more orders, and my job was to execute and make customers happy. And that's how we grew from about 200, when I joined, 250 people, to about what we are today. So it's been a great journey, and if it could happen from a few boys in Bangalore, it could happen from anywhere. And we are not a very not many people, I don't know how many people would have known about Quest Global before now. We are not a public company, so you don't hear that much about us. We are a privately held company, and we are going strong with enough interest from some of the best private equity investors continuing to invest in the company. So maybe now I want to talk a little bit about where the world is going and what's happening. In terms of technology, I think one of the major trends in the world is about the population, and I think it's very important for us to recognize that. If you look at last 75 years, the world population went up from 2.5 billion to today about 8 billion. Okay, so 3x. Now, if we look at from now to 2100, year 2100, 75 years from now, what's going to happen to the world population? If it tripled again, we would be at 24 billion or something, right? But that's not what is happening, okay? We are expected to taper off at maybe 11 to 12 billion type of so it's only about 40% more population. This is an important point because the economy is going to continue to grow, but the population is not going to grow as much, which means that the purchasing power and per capita income of the people in the world is going to grow. And that's happening in already so many countries, and you can see that what it drives towards is that there are less and less people available with more and more money, which means that they don't want to do lot of the hard work. There is not many people who want to do the muscle work, right? So anybody who has enough money just want to have the creature comforts that, so the population is going to become more about pursuing happiness, pursuing entertainment. So the economy is going to turn into a entertainment economy, and it's already happening. Okay, you can see that people who produce entertainment are actually making money, right? So all the influencers and all the people that are making things, that's available to everybody. Everybody wants to consume that. So less and less people are available to do the muscle work, and that's okay. Okay, entire economy still has to be based on exploiting the natural resources, and that's going to happen more and more through automation. Okay, so same thing in India. So since independence, if we look at our 75 year of independence, our population went up 4x from 35 crore to about 140 crores. Okay, our economy during most of this part was growing at a, let's say, about 3% type of a clip. Only recently it's been growing at 5, 6, 7%. And during that time, our population went up 4x. That's why the per capita income hasn't gone up that much. But now what's going to happen? Next 75 years, if we think about India population, just about 15, 20 years ago, we were all worried about population explosion, right? We have always been worried about, oh my God, so many people. And that whole trend has changed thanks to a lot of the changes that have happened through the technology itself. Okay, so more and more people now, and it's very quickly happening that in the society, people want to have less children and want to have more independence, freedom, right? So these kind of societal changes are happening through the technology that has really made the information available to all the people. People are wanting to pursue more of fun. And India population is expected to grow from about 140 crore only to about 170, 175 crore. Not many of us realize that, okay? Whereas our economy is expected to continue to grow at 7, 8%, which means about every 9 or 10 years, economy will double, but the population is not going to grow that much. Again, it's good for wealth managers, right? So the income, per capita income is going to grow. People will have a lot of disposable income, and they will want a lot from life. Again, so what that means is we have to really think about adopting technology, adopting automation, increasing productivity everywhere, because you will find less and less people wanting to do hard work. Even the politics of the world is going to change more towards welfare states. And that's already happening in Europe. Europe is all, people getting money for free education, free medical, free this, free that. Everything is free, okay? They want to work only 3 days a week now, right? So such trends, sure, India will take a few more years because we do have a vast population that is still yet to go through that kind of a economic transformation, but it's all happening. And next 15 years, I think we can expect a lot of such changes to happen. So I invite you to think more towards bringing in automation and productivity enhancement in your enterprises if you are today very dependent on human muscle power. So that has to be changed with human brain power. Bring people with ability to think about what is to be changed and how to bring in more productivity in your organizations. Thinking more about Canara and your business here, this is something I've been in the background thinking since I agreed to come over here. I always think that it's important for us to come together, you all to come together and think about what is our strength and how do we exploit that strength, how do we strengthen the strength even more, and also think about what are our weaknesses and how to mitigate that. So one question is, what is Mangalore or Canberra famous for? What are we known for, right? And the answer, if you go around, it's like many. It's not one single answer, really, right? I mean, we are great at this, we are good at that. Okay, so clearly, we have a beach, okay, which Bangalore doesn't have, for example. That's a great differentiator, okay? We are very, very good. We make great food. We have fish, we have, and for various historical reasons, we have a great BD industry and cashews, and of course, some amount of technology, the oil and gas refinery. I mean, a wide variety of things, but what is that one thing? Like if you think about Surat, okay, what's Surat famous for? Okay, what is Coimbatore famous for? Okay, what is Belgaum famous for? Foundry, okay, automotive foundry. I mean, so what is it that we are famous for? Banking. Banking is one thing we were famous for, okay, and somewhere along we lost that track, probably because of nationalization, right? So once the nationalization happened, but then obviously we should wonder how come some of the fintech companies didn't come out of Bangalore, right? Manipur. It could have. So maybe obviously there is an opportunity for you guys to adopt technology a little bit more and think about that. Even KCCI, I heard your video here and talked. I see a lot of effort being spent by you to lobby with the government and keep up with the government as they are changing all this GST, et cetera, various things, right? Bankruptcy. You are training the community here. But I would like you to train people on how the technology is changing. As a membership, can you do more of that? Okay, how technology is changing, how that is impacting the business, what is in the future for each one of you, how to use, for example, whatever we have good of, not necessarily think of our traditional markets, but how do we tap the rest of the world, which is now open for you to approach, right? So I think some serious debate around what is it that we can be famous for. And it can be anything really, but once that is done, around that, a lot of things can happen. This doesn't mean that that's all we do, right? We continue to do a lot of the things that we do, but we have to be able to brand ourselves and say, this is what we are famous for, this is why you should come. And then I kind of thought about, some of the things, for example, for longest time now, centuries now, I think we have been trading with, say, Gulf countries, okay? We have ambition of building, let's say, a IT or a engineering, technology-based business here, okay? I heard about how we have about 20,000 engineers now working for IT companies, and these are all the subs of whether it is some of the biggest companies in Bangalore. So that trend can continue. It is for want of more resources. It is for want of allowing these engineers or employees to be in their hometowns rather than coming to Bangalore or someplace like that. So continue to grow that. And that will naturally grow as such advantages come to those companies. But that is not the end of it all, So that earlier I talked about technology, right? So if you think about, say, in 2100, India actually has a very, very good chance of being the top economy of the world. provided we are good at technology. So we cannot, today, if you think about what's happening is, which are some top companies in the world? Where are they? They're all mostly in Silicon Valley, right? $1 trillion companies. Okay, Microsoft, Seattle, okay. Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, Google, X, Meta, right? And they own the world, right? Because we all use those products and we all contribute a little bit, one penny at a time, every time we use something, and all that goes. Of course, we have a lot of engineers sitting here in Bangalore and other places working on the software required for each one of these companies, but the product belongs there. So how are we going to have something like that? So can we think of a longer-term plan for here that we will excel at something? So, there's a very nice book by Peter Thiel called 0 to 1. I don't know, some of you may have read it. The concept is this. It is very often what we do when we build a business is one-to-many business, okay? So they are doing IT services, I'll also do IT service, okay? They are doing whatever, I'll also do that. So one to many. But when you build a 0 to 1 business, which means that it wasn't there before, now it has been created, that really gives the strength. Good thing about technology is that it keeps changing, Whatever is hottest technology today, about 15 years from now, it will be taught in high school, okay? So it is never a bad time to start, but you need to start with something new. So is it possible that within this community, and for that, really, an ecosystem is required. If you think about Bangalore, why Bangalore is Bangalore today is because IISc was built in, I think, 1905 or sometime like that, okay? So if not for that initial seed of technology and knowledge coming out in that area, Bangalore wouldn't be Bangalore. So what is that we can take here? You have NITK, you have Manipal, there are technology hubs. But then there are other elements required. You need a startup ecosystem, you need an accelerator, you need some investment, you need some mentoring. So how do we bring such a thing? And is there some area that we can focus on? Now, many times, we talk about, hey, we have resources here, they learn engineering, and then they go off to Bangalore or go to Silicon Valley. If only they had stayed here, we would be as great, right? But that's not really true, right? Because if only they had stayed here, they probably might end up in a cashew business, because that's what happens most. So what is it that's happening here? How do we bring customers is a lot harder than building skills or getting an engineer out. So the problems with bringing customers is, especially in the B2B segment, you really have to meet customers. And then earlier I was talking about, when we bring customers from US and Europe, they have already taken a couple of flights, 24 hours they have spent in the airplanes, and they land in Bangalore. If we ask them to take another flight to Mangalore, it just doesn't happen. Okay, they're never going to come. Unless we have something so unique that nobody else has, then there is no choice. You have to take that third flight and come over. Or you can think about, hey, where do we have direct flights from here, right? So again, I think that you have direct flights from here into many of the Gulf countries, and there is hundreds of years of collaboration that has taken place between these two regions. There is a lot of cultural alignment. Mangalore is a very culturally multicultural melting pot, so it's very, very great that I really think that you could all be thinking about how can we build a great business working exclusively for the Gulf countries on various aspects. Okay, so can you really exclusively think of creating this corridor between these two regions? And they are spending a lot of money on building technology nowadays. They don't get as much attention from Bangalore companies because Bangalore companies are very busy with US and Europe customers, right? So can you really create a niche of working with maybe Gulf countries, build your capability, and once you are so good at it, everybody will start coming. And now this is not a 1 year, 2 year, 5 year journey. You know, this is like a 15 year, 20 year, 25 year journey. So can you commit to that? As KCCI, you know, you have the long heritage of being from 1940 to now. Okay, so going from here to 2040, 100th year of KCCI, can you say this is what we want to be? This is what we want to be great at. Maybe cyber security is one hot area right now. You know, there is such a huge need. Anybody could become great at it. So is there some way that we can think about seeding that and becoming great at something like that? So these are some of my thoughts. And there is no right answer. You all know your business very well. I think you need to come together. You have to collaborate. A lot of debates, discussions will probably take place, and then you will see something that makes sense, that you can really stand out for, be world famous at being at something. So maybe I'll stop here and see if there are questions. What about? Thank you.
We do have a few questions, sir. Shall we take the first one? Yeah. Okay. So Quest Global is recognized as one of the best organizations for women to work. What is it that makes it different? Also, we have a lot of women entrepreneurs in the audience here. So what do you think is the way forward for women entrepreneurs?
Yeah. See, the first thing is, again, you know, I really don't think that we can create a future by relying only on half of the population for the future, right? So women make the other half of the population. So women are extremely important in terms of being part of the entire journey. In many cases, women are the customers, especially when you think about, you know, many of the various kind of businesses that you have. The customers are actually women. So having that diversity is extremely important. So first is to really think of it as important, right? And then a lot of things do fall in place. It has not been easy in engineering, actually, because we were mostly in mechanical engineering in the initial stages. As you know, very few women go into mechanical engineering. And over time, we have worked hard to try and get as many. Of course, as we got more engineers, of course, that meant like less out there for other people to hire. So it wasn't like, you know, overall numbers went up too much. But we have had much more luck in the electronics and software side of things in terms of women engineers coming into the force. So obviously, some of the things like work from home, etc., have really been helpful in that journey. So main thing is really make it a priority and say that it is important, because it is important, right? So we also already talked about how we are going to have less and less manpower available, even though economy is going up. So a lot of, you know, brain power is required, and brain power, there is no differentiation between really men and women. So I think you could really build very good businesses with women. So make it a priority.
We have quite a few questions coming in now.
Okay.
So you said start converting your business from muscle power centric to brain power centric. But most of us here are SMEs. So how do you think we must adapt this change, as this transition needs a lot of investment and sales later on? Do you say either we scale up with technology or lose the market share?
Actually, beautiful thing about technology adoption is that it does take time and it also takes some capital, right? But if you address that part, adopting technology improves your quality of the product, okay, because machines just keep doing the same thing again and again and produce whatever you want, okay, at a much lower cost. So your competitiveness increases and your market share should improve. It will not go down, okay? But do we have the vision and the, again, prioritization to say, okay, yes, we will take the time, we will put some brain power to think about what automation, what productivity improvement we need, and where do we need it, and bring in that automation. So make it a priority, do your numbers. I think you'll figure it out that, and it's not necessarily maybe today, but what I'm saying is over the next 15 years, we will find it's very, very difficult to find people who will do a lot of manual labor, okay? It is very difficult. I'm talking about a 15-year journey, okay? And so this is the time when you start thinking about it, is what my submission is.
So in continuation, with education becoming more affordable, the local businesses like ours depend on labor force. They're feeling the heat now. We depend on manpower from less privileged towns, districts, and states. So how do we address this issue using technology?
Again, you need to go wherever you will get your things done, okay? Because maybe one of the first steps is, and we have done that. For example, the part of maybe Quest journey that I didn't talk about is during the first 10 years, we had also got into manufacturing. And that manufacturing division, we spun off into another separate company called AEQUS, AEQUS, and Arvind Meligiri runs that. And it's been a tremendous success in terms of manufacturing aircraft parts and consumer durable goods, all in Hubli area, Hubli, Koppal, and Belgaum area. And in fact, today, every new plane that comes out from production line has a part made in Belgaum in it, okay? So it's an awesome, successful journey. But why did we go to Belgaum? Because that's where a lot of the people are, that we could train them to be very good mechanics. And but even in that facility, we have adopted significant amount of automation, okay? So you need to do what is right in terms of finding the people where you need them and get things started, but really go on a continuous journey of improvement through bringing in technology and automation. So it's not like, one fine day you stop and say, I don't need anybody, because it doesn't happen that way. So it's a long gestation period, but you have to make it a priority and continuously keep bringing the new technology and automation and improve your productivity.
So now coming to you and your life, what do you think is the turning point in your life?
My turning point is, I think, when I got on that flight, left my nice job in California. I was working at Hewlett-Packard, great, highly admired company. I was doing great because, I had already gotten promoted 2-3 times in just 5 years. So I could have been very happy living there, chasing the American dream. But I said, okay, no, this is time for me to go to India and really do something different, okay? We had nothing to lose. That was the main thing, because we were all young. We had great degrees. We could any day find a job anywhere, right? So that, I think, backing and that comfort was there. So there was nothing to lose. We had to try, and luckily it all worked out.
So, and the audience is very curious to know when your company is going to go public.
For ever since I joined the company, this question has come, and I have a standard answer. 18 to 24 months.
Would you like to set up a captive center, tech center in Mangalore? KCCI can provide you the support. I'm sure it's one of our KCCI
So, sorry,
guys,
what was
but
that again?
would you like to set up a captive center or a tech center in Mangalore?
This is what I was saying earlier about trying to be good at something great, okay? Something different. And our story is that when I joined the company and the back end taking care of Quest Global Delivery, so I landed in Bangalore and I find that we have about 250 engineers and then there are 20 engineers in Hubli, okay? For emotional reason, we came from Hubli, so a center was set up in Hubli, okay? But from an operational perspective, it was a nightmare. We were having, 2 hours of discussion, 1 hour to talk about Bangalore problems and another hour to talk about Hubli problems, right? So it's not scalable. I really ask you, if you really want to grow your business, scale it, keep it simple, yeah? So I actually decided to close Hubli, okay? So for operational reasons, and these are the types of things that happen, just having a few people here while there is a lot of something going on, and then why, right? Why is the reason. So it's not the cost benefit that really plays. So is there something unique, so those are the types of things we have to look at, and that's why I'm asking that as part of this thinking process, we really think about what is it that we can be really good at, because we have, take IIT Chennai, for example. There is some professors who have been really good at some of the space technology and engine technology, making mechanical products. Now, around IIT, there are so many great space startups. So now, around here, whether it is Manipal or NITK or any other education institute, or is there something special we can start? Because anything we start, if it is in the right area, it can grow and become huge. For example, generative AI, 3-4 years ago, if we had started something, it would be growing very fast. So I would like to really think from all those angles before I would say yes.
Okay.
Okay?
So we have a lot of engineering colleges, heads of engineering colleges in the audience. What are your views on major engineering colleges now stopping the core courses like mechanical and civil engineering due to lack of students?
I think the core engineering is really essential. I think it would be a disaster if core engineering is reduced, because that is how the logically thinking engineers come out. And once that happens, then they could be trained in anything really. So I think it has to be re-evaluated if this is a serious consideration. Whereas obviously, there are many colleges that got opened up just because of the boom. That doesn't make sense, because just having a college where somebody didn't really learn well, coming out as an engineer doesn't necessarily make our industry strong. So we do have a lot of rejection rates when the freshers apply because they haven't really learned. So if you have good engineering colleges, mechanical, civil, electrical engineering, electronics, these are all very basic engineering, and these have to be promoted.
So we have Mr. Satish who asks, what are your views on startups that focus on innovation and technology? The grants provided by the government have been same for over a decade and they haven't adjusted to inflation really. R&D requires huge amount of investment and time. So it involves a lot of risk as well, and it will come over a decade later. So when do you think India will take such risks by investing in such startups?
Yeah, so the whole startup space is very risky. So you invest in 10 companies, one of them may succeed. And that is if you put a lot of thought into selecting the 10 companies that you invested in. And it fails for various reasons, okay? So it is not just based on grant only. I think, if people have to be very choosy about what their idea is. Is it really scalable? Is it the right time in the market for such a thing? And such things have the right to survive and move forward. And I don't think we should just do startup just because some grant is available. Like, let's see how to think about starting that startup, right? So if you have a good idea, government grant, okay, maybe just gets you started for 6 months, 1 year, but then you have to be able to impress real investors who have earned hard-earned money that they want to put behind you. If you don't have such an idea, it's okay for you to stop that and move on and find another one, So I wouldn't worry about like a government grant as much, but think about, do we do the right startup? Do we have the right mentor? Is this really the right idea? And then find a professional investor to fuel our startup.
Thank you, sir. With more and more machines and automation, are machines able to think about the environment the way we are talking about it? How do we manage this kind of an e-waste?
Yeah, interesting. So one of the concept right now is something called singularity. I don't know if you heard of it. Okay, so all the technology. See, the whole holy grail of computers is eventually the computers being so smart that they make us free of everything. Okay, IBM back in the 1980s tried to sell all their computers by saying, hey, you buy our computer and then you can relax because computer will do everything. But we haven't come to that point yet. And the technologists believe by 1938, the generative AI and artificial intelligence will mature, both the computer hardware technology as well as the algorithms for artificial intelligence. 2038 is that point of singularity where the computers become as good as human in their conscience, so they develop conscience. And if they do, which it might, I'm a technologist, so I'm very much looking forward to it. If the conscience is there in the computer, yes, it will start thinking about, hey, I don't want to ruin the environment.
Sir, your next question. How do you see the role of AI and machine learning evolving in business operations over the next decade?
I think there's going to be a lot of changes out of that. So if we think about last 150 years, so first was maybe the steam engine, which unleashed a lot of productivity. Then came the electricity. Then came the computers. I think the generative AI or AI is as big of a change as one of those. Okay, many other things come and go, but I think this is as big of a change. So, which means that over a period, and this is not like overnight again, any of these things take like 20 years, 25 years to mature. So during that period, we will see tremendous changes in how the AI is going to do a lot of the things that we currently do. For example, just the other day, I called British Airways because my daughter's ticket had to be postponed by 4 days. And it was a nightmare, almost like 1 hour, talking to multiple people, and they are not fully clear about what the policy is for changing, and they are going back and forth and putting us on hold, all these things, right? Now, come 2038 or whenever the generative AI actually comes to that stage, it would be able to really sense what I want and then knows all the policies and able to quickly sort something like this out. Okay? It's the humans that actually kind of need a little bit more of that, but obviously it takes time for that to happen. So such changes will come, and we will see enormous productivity improvement, enormous change in customer service, that type of activities. In some of the other areas, like maybe a design of a product, etc., it might take a little longer, but you will start seeing a lot of benefit from AI.
So as a closing question, what is your message to young entrepreneurs?
Young entrepreneurs, main thing is, again, you have nothing to lose when you are young. I always say life is short, but your career is really long, okay? So life is short, so you must, enjoy life. But career is long. You can make a few mistakes. It's okay to fail. So if you are really passionate about something, go for it. But of course, try to get a good mentorship. Try to see if you can actually raise somebody's hard-earned money, not government money, okay? And validate your ideas. Give it all your best, okay? Give it all your best. If you fail, you have learned a lot. Maybe you can start another company which is more successful. If you want to give up, you can always find a job. There are plenty of jobs, okay? Especially that experience of failing at something is very valuable in companies, because people who have failed trying to do something, they are the people who have the energy and the right attitude, as well as the learnings from all these experience of failing. They are extremely valuable. I look forward to hiring people like that, okay? So go for it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that brilliant session. The audience has a lot of questions.
Thank you.
However, we were not able to take it to the paucity of time. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, once again for our speaker, Dr. Ajay Prabhu, President of Technology Services, Quest Global.